Who did the last chapter?
That's a solid question.
I wanna say...
Let me look.
Was it me last time?
I'm looking.
I think it was, because it was the sweeper story.
I'm looking.
Yeah. Inside the mirror you see someone else in your body.
Yeah, okay, it was you.
Okay, so it's you. Alright, let me change the song.
Sure, let me get a drink. And let me turn the heater off. Hopefully there's not too much ambient white noise back here.
Hopefully we should be able to finish this today. I don't see why we wouldn't.
I mean, Echo might get shafted, but...
Well, actually, it was kind of a good thing that we started late. Because, so like every week, Jackie gives me their schedule for like their work. And they said that they were free today. So I was like, okay, I'll do Minako today. And then Jackie DM'd me and was like, oh, I accidentally sent like the wrong day. But I should be able to make it home because they've been sending me home early. But the chef or whatever might have me stay, and I'm like, oh, I guess it's kind of good that I wound up waking up a bit late then.
Alright.
So I guess the later we go, the more likely it is for Umineko.
I'm ready.
Alright.
Like a little. There we go. The respite of the room didn't quite feel like a true respite. I need to fucking mute myself. There we go. Waking up in a room that feels like an average living space is almost reminiscent of my ordinary life, though the smell of blood permeating about reminds me of where I am now. Ezra is still sound asleep next to me, snoring away. On the other hand, Vespa is sitting on the floor and gazing at the door, clutching his blade in his arms. I'm not sure if he slept at all. Have you gotten any sleep? I had enough rest that you won't have to worry about my condition. That's good to hear. Knock knock, someone thumped at the door. Their silence suggests that they're a soldado, a class below the capo. Speak. This is Rami, a thumb soldado. I'm here to check if you have woken up. I turned to Vespa. A grade 5 fixer such as myself is not allowed to mention a capo's name. Is Capo Isabel asking to see us? Vespa spoke on my behalf. Yes, she wishes to talk with you over a simple breakfast. We'll be there soon. It's fortunate to have Vespa with me. It'll make our negotiation with the thumb smoother. I shook Ezra to wake her up. Yeah, detective. I could go for another helping. A silly thing to say in one's sleep. When I went out to the living room, plates of bacon and eggs, sunny side up, were set on a round table for 4, and the thumb capo, Isabel, sits at it. Please take a seat, Vespa and company, Isabel said to him, paying no attention to Ezra or I. He sat as we were told. Vespa, the grade 1 fixer, and a couple of 7 association fixes. What is your business here? Could you be participating in the struggle to take over El Corp's nest like many others? Vespa grimaced as he speared a strip of bacon with a fork, seemingly annoyed, and he looked right at Isabel. I work for Dr. Moses, the person here next to me. I devolve all of my authority and power to Director Moses as of this moment. He isn't even trying to hide his irritation. As you wish. I must say, it's interesting that you know about the transfer of authority the thumb uses internally. Grade 1 fixers are truly in another league. Isabel gave her answer. She lit a cigar in her mouth. Or perhaps you're an affiliate of the thumb. Puffing out cigar smoke towards Vespa, Isabel narrowed her eyes. He glared at her, not budging an inch. Let's not get off topic. I would like it if we could speak on equal terms. Ezra, clean the table, will you? I don't think we have the time for a full meal. Okay. Ezra answered, hurriedly shoving bacon in her mouth.
So relatable.
While Ezra and the Thumb members were clearing dishes from the table, I placed my smoking pipe between my lips. It's time to negotiate a deal. I'm bargaining with the Thumb, one of the fingers. No amount of ridiculousness should be surprising coming from them. Well then, Miss Moses, grade 5 fixer of the 7 Association, let us speak on equal terms. Gladly. The Thumb has the strongest organizational power among the fingers, controls a legion of subsidiary syndicates, and the members of the Thumb itself are not rallied for trivial matters. However, soldados and even a capo being at the site must mean that they are unable to rely on their subsidiaries. I imagine it has something to do with the fog covering this nest. The syndicate's organizational capability wouldn't be as effective in this mist that clouds one's cognition. They're likely desperate in their own right, in an attempt to make use of us. About to offer a deal. I hope you are prepared. That's right. It's hard to refuse a deal offered by the Thumb. On equal standing, I could politely decline it given enough justification, but they provided us with shelter to survive the sweepers. We're indebted to them. I don't see any justification that could lift this debt. Let us hear the details of your offer. I bit the pipe and let out a breath. Miss Moses, first, I want you to give me an introduction of yourself and your colleagues. Although I won't change the outline of the offer, I might be able to take it into consideration. Isabel lifted a glass in front of her with liquor. I'm working as the Distortion detective, or so I call it. These two fellows are my assistants who help me with the job. Isabel's brows twitched. Perhaps the word distortion caught her attention. That's gotta be the case. Several sightings of the Distortion are apparently being reported in Alcor's nest. There's no reason for me to hide my profession. Rather, they'll be motivated to hand over information about cases of distortion that have emerged here. If this prediction misses the mark, though, that would mean they're only intended in using us as another pawn for their strife. So you're a detective. It's impressive that you've got a grade 3 and grade 1 fixer as your assistants. I'd contact the headquarters and check the facts right away if I could, but I cannot reach out the outside at the moment. So I will have to trust your word on this. Isabel guzzled down her drink. It wasn't the mentions of distortions that she reacted to, unlike my expectation. I won't pry into it further. There will be bloodshed in Elcor's nest in the near future. We of the Thumb and our subsidiary syndicates are preparing for this fight. Are you asking the Office of the Distortion Detective to join your forces as part of the deal? We aren't looking for soldiers to fight alongside us in an all-out war, no. The workshops in this nest, which were supposed to provide the Thumb with musket ammunition, have disappeared. There was a spark in Ezra's eyes. It's only natural that bringing up workshops would draw her interest. The workshops that supply their goods to the Thumb must be especially intriguing since it's difficult to normally get in touch with them. And you want us to find their whereabouts. I held my pipe in between my lips. Isabel nodded. If this is your offer, what do you promise to give us in return? Is there anything you want? I need information. Information regarding the distortions. The Thumb will serve as a reliable network. We'll need information on the distortion phenomenon occurring in this nest, and we need lots of it. You want us to regularly update you on the news concerning them, is that correct? Isabel scanned me, Vespa, and Ezra with her eyes. Sadly, we are isolated at the moment. It's not an easy job to get our comms to work or specify our location in this fog. That means you have no intel that you can give us at the moment. For now, no. However, I'll ask the other capos when I can contact the headquarters later. I can collect the intel and hand it over to you then. How does that sound? I blew out smoke. Our dialogue was resolved smoothly thanks to Vespa's presence. She didn't ask too much of us for saving our lives. Isabel offered her hand to shake on it. Tell me more about the case of lost ammunition and the location of the workshop. I shook her hand. The street is brighter than it was at night, although the scenery is still rather dim and blurry thanks to the fog. We're heading in the general direction of the workshop Isabel told us about. Ezra walks with a spring to her step, possibly because she's elated for the chance to see a workshop partner with the thumb. Vespa's following us, wearing a frown. That kid seems to have a deeply ill-fated relationship with the thumb, and for reasons I'm not yet aware of. Ezra, do you know much about the workshops the thumb gets service from? Yep, of course. Ezra's expression was that of someone begging to be asked more questions. It's true that I know little about the thumb beyond common knowledge. There's been a particular lack of friction with the Syndicate while going about this job in general. So, Ezra, could you brief us on what you know? As you're already aware, the thumb uses muskets. Right. And the thumb uses a huge variety of bullets. They pick the right ones for the situation every time. I'm guessing those bullets are quite pricey. Oh, it's no joke. It's like they throw money at their workshops when a purge happens. Vespa's brow furrowed upon hearing the word purge. He must have a troubled past concerning the thumb's purge. They don't waste their ammo on trivial stuff, though. In fact, the thumb's firearms are terrific weapons even without the bullets. The buttstock performs better than your average blunt instruments. It's made of the hardest wood available in the city. Ezra tirelessly goes on with her passionate speech. It might look simple.
No wonder the capos are so good to use in Ruina.
I mean, yeah. Well, Boris just fucking hit people. Alright, let's get a drink. It might look simple at a glance, but it contains the technologies of several workshops. Acceleration and mass manipulation are a given. They can purge anybody they want for a reason. The buttstock is designed to be a good tool for pashing anyone's jaw, too. It's so entertaining, Vespa murmured. It would seem all this talk of the thumb provoked him. Huh? Well, yeah, talking about workshops is always fun. Have you been struck by the buttstock yourself? Vespa gave Ezra a vicious glare. His eyes are much like those I saw plenty of times throughout my life. Ezra's expression changed in the blink of an eye, the same expression she wore during the war. What are those eyes? Miss Ezra, I want you to refrain from talking about such things while I'm around, lest I cut your tongue off. Vespa grabbed the hilt of the sword at his side. Don't you give that kind of look in front of the detective. Ezra spoke in a glacial voice. I placed a hand on my forehead. These kids are comparable to ticking time bombs. Detective and I have gone through a war. It was a hellish time, worse than anything you've ever experienced. A flash of yellow light danced in the air. What do you know about me? Vespa's sword was drawn before I noticed. I don't give a damn about that. Just don't evoke the memories of war for the detective. For us, with those eyes. Ezra doesn't move a muscle. How can you talk about killing people so gleefully when you suffered a war? I bit my smoking pipe. This is the only way I know to cope. Seek joy. Don't be serious. Ezra's blonde hair gradually turns white. She gripped Vespa's neck with her hand at a speed my eyes couldn't follow. Vespa grasped her neck in retaliation. Both of them are nothing short of killing machines. Ezra, stop. She put her arm down at my word. Her eyes were still cold. I apologize. I was careless. I puffed out a curl of smoke. Vespa released his grip on Ezra's neck. Vespa, we're in the process of overcoming our past events in our own ways. I'm sure you are overcoming something of your own as well. We're co-workers who have to band together whether you like it or not, so I want us all to be more considerate of each other. Understood? Got it! Ezra returned to her usual self and gave a cheerful reply. Sorry, Junior, my bad. You're insane. Vespa closed his eyes, sheathed his blade. Perhaps Vespa's right. Maybe we have gone insane from what we went through during that time. We react sensitively to small things, we're prone to labor under delusions, and completely nonchalant towards cruelty. I committed a sin, and I must be punished for it, as did Ezra, as did this city. But I don't want Vespa to set foot in this territory. He has a good heart. There's a sense of justice in his mind. The thought I had this day became one of my few wishes. I shook off the stray thought shortly after. We walked in the mist for a while, without speaking, when we then arrived at the site where the workshop in question should be. What a mess. A scene littered with corpses came into our sight. It's hard to tell if they're fixers or syndicate members. I placed my smoking pipe in my mouth. Among them, dark blue coats and yellow garments attracted my eyes. It's the Zwei, the association that specializes in public security and protection. Unidentified bodies accompanied by those of Zwei fixers. I should investigate the scene further. My lips firmly held the pipe.
Can I say, I like how you gave the couple, like, the whole, like, mafioso, like, voice to them. It was very nice.
Their association ranks are in Italian. They're goon-maxing. I don't know what to tell you.
True. It was on point. Okay. There are bullet holes in some of the corpses. These bodies are in the attire of the Zwei Association, and I suspect that they belong to a fairly eminent section. I searched the body of one Zwei Association fixer, looking for something a fixer would carry. I found a fixer license in their inside pocket. It says they're from Section 3 of the southern branch of the Zwei Association, just as I predicted. Was the south one the one with the armor, or?
I assume Zwei South is the one, like the ones that we've seen in the library, blue coats.
Okay. I forgot which one the one with the armor was from.
Oh, that's west. We're in
west.
Limbus, they're in west right now.
Okay.
The library fight was Zwei South Section 6. Section 6. Huge jobbers.
Okay. So hi there, Jackie! You just get home? Welcome. Let's see. This rectangular ID card providing one's status as a fixer is what tells them apart from syndicate members. If someone fixes and solves problems for a price without a fixer license, you have yourself a syndicate. This is the line between us and them. I inspect the bodies next. A bullet to the chest punctured their hearts and went straight out the back. All of their faces were contorted, tears streaming. Ezra, are the thumb bullets powerful enough to penetrate the coats that the Section 3 of the Zwei have with such ease?
It's possible in theory, but this case is kinda iffy. Bullets used by the highest of higher-ups are super expensive and powerful, so they could make a hole in those coats. The thing is...
Still got 2-ish hours left. Oh shit. Ganbare!
It's unlikely for such superior personnel to be in a place like this.
I gave a light chomp to my smoking pipe. Could this workshop be a place where bullets for the top brass are manufactured?
Well, all the workshop owners said the ammunition of the Thumb is produced at the Thumb HQ, and kept under strict management when I asked them.
Ezra says with a puzzled look. I search the coat some more. I see. The scratches on this coat, and the bullets scattered on the floor. I picked up one of them. Is this bullet the kind used by the Thumb, then?
It is.
Vespa... Oh wait, that was Vespa. Not Ezra. It is. Vespa gave the answer instead. I ruminated my pipe. A battle broke out between the Zwei Association and someone who took the Thumb's bullets. However, those bullets were not responsible for the deaths of the 7 fixers from Zwei Section 3.
Detective! The other corpses don't look like fixers. Maybe they were part of a Thumb subsidiary syndicate guarding this workshop?
I walked towards Ezra and glanced at the bodies. Their limbs were lopped off by large weapons. This is the Zwei Association's work. Their enormous swords have caused this damage. This is Zwei... whoops. The Zwei Section 3 and a Thumb-affiliated syndicate had a fight. The Zwei came out on top.
But...
Right, there was someone else. I let some smoke seep out of my lungs. Looks like we have some new faces here. Judging by your appearance, are you fixers on a request? A voice came from the mist. It's the voice of a young man. He must be the one who killed the fixers from the Zwei. A man with ammunition, capable of penetrating the coat worn by Section 3 of the Zwei, and is a considerable threat, even for Ezra and Vespa. He had to react immediately. He can see us through this mist. He has this advantage in terms of sight. Ezra. She nodded and put on a gauntlet of the Ren Valley workshop.
Gale Fist!
As she lunged her fist forward, a strong gust of wind cleared the mist in its way. Vespa threw his yellow harpoon without delay. It took little time for the mist to obscure our sight again. Ugh! It's a hit. We walked in the direction of the moan.
Excuse me?
Isn't this rather harsh? You can't just pin a metal stick into a stranger's thigh without asking. I shouldn't let my guard down. Might not be alone. I exhaled a red breath. The smoking pipe morphed into a sword. Are you the one who killed the fixers from Zwei Association? I did. I had no ill feelings towards them, but they were getting in my way. The way of you taking the bullets for yourself? Exactly. I'm the marksman of mist. More ammo, the better. I hear that voice right in front of me. I give Vespa a look when he has to turn his flank. One of us has to turn his flank. Ezra, be on your guard. Vespa, disarm him, but don't hurt him too badly. Vespa jumped sideways and disappeared into the mist at once. Ezra and I kept advancing forward. Are you also here for these pieces of metal? Ezra! She extended her fist once more. As the mist cleared away, a yellow trace swept the floor. Vespa seems to be going for the legs. Something was cut by his blade. It's a decoy. He spoke in a low voice. I knew it, so you were... An old radio was in front of us. I bring entertainment to people. You're probably thinking that you're wandering in this mist like most others. What is truly lost, though, is the mind. A voice came from a distance. Ezra shoved me...
It's enlightenment. It's an entertainment.
Yeah, is this the circus? Bonnie, look at me. Hi there, Thunder Dude. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Hello. Is this the circus at 8 o'clock? Or is this the Gears?
This is some lunatic with a gun.
Wait, what?
No, I was saying you read enlightenment as entertainment. That was my only...
Oh, I see. I bring enlightenment to people. Whoops. Your eyes are pretty. Well, thank you. Yeah, for some reason, resetting this model makes it a bit more vibrant. Hey! Hey! You told me that so you could steal my wallet? What the fuck? Blam. Esma's movement stopped right as she pushed me. It's not that she got knocked unconscious or anything. She ceased motion in a literal sense. Hoo-hoo, I'm the marksman of the mist. Hold still there, please. The voice is coming from multiple directions. He probably has more loudspeaker devices, like the radio placed here and there. He can't specify his location. I I'd at least like to try to estimate his position from the trace of his bullet, but our view is too badly obscured for even that. He has a complete advantage over us. I don't see enough discussion going on in this day and age. The epoch lacks deep conversation. Nobody likes that kind of stuff because they've lost their ways. I stole nothing? Why am I missing my wallet then? And you can see us through the fog? I shouted in no specific direction. Yep, I can see you clear as day. This mist is merciful for those who haven't lost their way. Way, he says. He's the type that talks a load of nonsense philosophy. Tears are falling from Ezra's eyes, who's otherwise perfectly motionless. On closer inspection, I see a long bullet spinning in front of Ezra's heart. It rotates, digging into Ezra's chest ever so slowly. I guess it's too much for that big yellow-haired fellow to endure. I'm sure it's tough for anyone to endure. I found it. It's missing money, though. I wonder who could have taken the money. I'm even surprised there's even money in my wallet in the first place. We're fixers. We're investigating this place because we were requested to bring back bullets that belong to our client, that's all. What kind of windmill tilting to fetch bullets involves harpooning people and trying to chop off their ankles? What happened to the good old ways of the fixer? Aren't you people supposed to recite some fancy creed a la chivalry or bushido? Probably a money thief? Will you let us go unharmed if we forfeit our search? Nada. What do you want? First off, tell your other pal on the prowl for me to cut it out. He's so terrifying I can't move a muscle. Vespa, stop. I shouted out to the air. I presume he is speedily scouring every corner of the area right now. What do you want next? I won't make it long. You will accept this bullet instead. I'll put a break on the one that's digging into the heart of that yellow-haired lass if you do. I'll accept it. Are you going to be okay with that? Vespa appeared next to me and asked. I nodded in response. An outstanding attitude. Few have managed to withstand my bullet so far. Tears are still flowing down Ezra's face. The South Section 3 fixers died shedding tears. These signs make it evident that the attack is of a psychological nature, whether it's a distortion or a psychoment user, meaning this won't be a test of physical endurance. It's gonna be a matter of willpower. You look like a smart cookie, but you know that intelligence and strength of will are two different things, right? His words echo from all over the space. I hear the sound of a bullet being loaded into a gun. I can hear whistles as well. I gave Vespa a look. This is the one and only chance for us to trace the bullet back to its source. I trust Vespa to know the meaning of my sign. Good. Stay right there. Blam! I was surrounded by darkness. Why is it dark? It's because my eyes are closed. I open my eyes. In front of me are a group of people, donning dark coats and slaying others with their blades. Their shoes clack on the floor in synchronized motion as they march on, cutting down whatever stands in their way. People resist in vain with edged objects before their assailants. Then their tools of self-defense are cut through. Curved scimitars mow down victims like scythes reaping crops. I look down at my own body. I'm wearing the same black long coat as they are, except mine has a special...
It's French, accoutrement.
Accoutrement. Okay, accoutrement added to it. I looked around. A massive and antique gallery. So this is back when she was with the Ujat.
Mm-hmm.
The marble floor drenched in blood makes a vivid contrast with it. A one-sided massacre. I moved my hand to place it on my forehead. However, I touched a cold mask instead. I'm wearing a mask. Upon being touched, it shows the personal information of the people in long coats, such as their names and age. I rubbed the mask again to turn off the display. Someone approached me. A person in a dark long coat wearing a golden mask with the symbol of an eye came to me and spoke. Captain, we've secured Eunice's family. How many are they? 4, ma'am. There could be children among them. My moral judgment holds no meaning, however. I must, act according to Diaz's will. There is no need to bother informing myself of unnecessary details. I didn't ask further about the family members. Their fault is that they were an obstacle to the path Diaz pursued. That is enough reason. Slaughter them. I am Moses. I am the captain of the Ujat. I like the description for this chapter.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little busy here.
Oh? Everything okay?
No, I'm fine. You'll see what I mean in a few minutes.
Oh.
Hi, Moses. Good job as always. Diaz, are you satisfied with the outcome? Mm-hmm. All thanks to you, Moses. About this last mission I handled, they were actual syndicate members, right? Is it really necessary for you to know that much detail? Frigid eyes. I suppose not. Right. I like your eyes so much, dear. Followed by an innocent, cheery smile. You've done a good job today, so let's go out and treat ourselves to some nummy food. Diaz raised me and gave me a chance at life. I was an abandoned child. Diaz was the one who saved me from desolation. She looked after me and educated me. Diaz told me to think of her as my older sister. I wish to make her dream come true. I'm not going to be approximating this these symbols as anything. I don't know what else to do with that.
Yeah, no worries.
Who is this child, Elmuth? She will be the 2142nd agent of Ujat. You brought me a useless piece of meat. It was by Lady Diaz's recommendation. I suppose the child was pushed here. Fine, I'll teach her. Are you going to train her yourself, Captain? If it's what Diaz wants. I'm not sure what Diaz's intentions behind getting a clumsy kid involved in our work are. I don't question her, however. Diaz is my light.
Kinda gay.
Hey. What is it, Ezra? Isn't killing our enemies all we have to do? Do you have questions about this job? I heard that work here is all about beating foes to a pulp. You also ought to read books and study. I don't need stuff like that. Having a towering physique for her age, the kid said she's a good fighter if nothing else. The augmentation procedures she received are apparently expensive and prestigious. What is your weapon of choice? I'm good with any. How arrogant. You have that much confidence in your own body, huh? I bet I'm stronger than a shorty like you, at least. Promptly smacked her in the face. There are virtues that people who shed blood in this business must respect. Ezra swung a fist at me right away. The powerful haymaker audibly rips through the air. However, it won't reach me. I kicked her calf in response. She went down on one knee. A plethora of procedures are available out there, such as augmenting tattoos, nanotech, muscle-enhancing drugs, and prosthetics. I don't know what kind of extraordinary augmentations you have. Ezra stood up and performed a roundhouse kick, aiming for my head. I effortlessly dodged her attack and nailed a fist in her chest. The kid winced. But I struck your weak point using less than half of the energy you've spent. Making sound judgment depending on the situation, whether you're a fixer or a syndicate crook. Money won't solve all your problems. I pointed to my head. The head is your most valuable asset. When you think things through, you'll find opportunities to grasp, even in the most perilous of situations. Ezra jumped at me. I tripped her up, and she fell on the floor with a loud noise. And remain calm. The head must stay cool at all times. Unable to contain her rage, the kid began throwing punches at random left and right. Each time I dodge, an unsuspecting table or wall ends up taking the blow. Besides, she swung her fist at me with all her might. The clenched fist fiercely draws near me, causing a shrieking wind. I cannot get out of its way. I have no need to, rather. I am stronger than you. I stopped Ezra's fist with a single hand and gripped it. Crack. I could hear the bones in her right hand break. I'm teaching you what you need to know to become a proper member of the Ujat. Do you understand? Still indignant, the kid was shedding tears. And next time, call me Captain. Several missions went on. The Ujat agents handle their tasks without any one of them falling behind. They do not question a single thing about their work. I remember the name of every single member of the Ujat. To me, they're my new family. Their respect for me, and the sense of fellowship may have played a part in their willingness to carry out preposterous and cruel jobs. Of course, money would be the most important motivation that allowed this office to operate in its unorthodox way, with the exception of me and Ezra. Captain, are we fixers? Ezra asked. Seems all the studying gave her a sharp insight. We've all started out as fixers. I looked it up and found out that Ujat is registered as an office, and I saw that you're listed as its leader instead of Lady Diaz. She acts as a client, giving us requests. A massive office serving one person. This is what Ujat is. But in my opinion, what we do is... Your opinion matters little on this topic. It would seem no different from a syndicate in the eyes of the unaware. Then what's the point of the line fixers are not meant to cross, Captain? We cross that boundary all the time. I heard that fixers are free to take any requests, though it's mandatory to report their results to the HANA Association. I nodded. HANA Association reviews the jobs the fixers handle, considers promotion or demotion based on these evaluations. We are a grade 1 office. If that's the case, why won't the HANA Association demote Ujat, let alone expel it? The wealth Diaz possesses. Now, this is the word I don't know.
Yeah, unctuous? I don't know. I don't know. Unctuous?
Her unctuous way with words and her connections. Everything revolves around Diaz. Ezra's eyes were opened. Same as the doubt I feel. Ezra knows that something is off about our job. A fixer isn't supposed to kill a civilian who's unwilling to fight. Diaz doesn't care about such rules. He exploits and eliminates anyone in her way, civilian or not. I get my hands dirty for her sake, because I believe in Diaz's dream. Diaz's dream. For the sake of that dream, the unstable trip down memory lane accelerates in fragments. Noises and cries fill the reminiscences. The sounds that call me. The voices that resent me.
Oh, I
Moses,
see.
I've brought new work for you, and a strawberry cake, too. What is about this time? Brought a stranger with her. A person with gray hair and green eyes. Hey, why don't we try something huge this time? What is it now? Bet it's another odd job. A war? What are you... But this is necessary for me to become a... You're on my side, isn't that right? Yes, this must be done for the sake of all of us. For you and for my mentor. The person next to Diaz says mysterious things. Even I can tell. We're no fixers. We're just mass murderers. Did you want to become a fixer? I wanted to dream the same dream as her together. I wanted to take that path. Your eyes are precious to me. They always have been. You are my most precious. You think of me and us as tools and nothing more. Captain, this diversionary tactic launched with the help of our Corps will be vital for the success of this operation. Noted, Hee-Jun. I'll be spilling yet more blood in this outpost amidst the war zone. We set off once again. All of this was an experiment. You wanted me to see all these detestable things, Ezra. On Hijun, I'll save you. I'll save you too. If it's the last thing I do. Captain Moses! You know what, Moses? I aim to be the head. To reach those heights, a pair of wings would be needed. I'm not gonna yell DS that loud, I'm sorry. You are my dear's eyes, screamed. I won't be your eyes.
Jeez.
I opened them.
No
The
wonder
bullet
you
fell
said
from
this
my
was
forehead
rough.
and hit the floor. Vespa, I quietly muttered. A yellow light flashed in the distance. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it was you and not me. that dyslexia would hit me having to do that.
There's somebody in the comments has like a full proper version with no like extras.
Oh, nice.
You can scroll down if you'd like. Because this is actually like an extremely important lore point. Yeah, that right there. Yeah, let's read this real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, why is that name getting censored?
I don't know if it is expanded upon any capacity as we continue, but I can expand upon it for you right now.
Oh?
I sent you a key page. You might remember this one.
Let me see. The L Corps that came before Lobotomy Corporation imposed unfair conditions, and many wings weren't happy about it. There's W Corps, which had to raise admission fees and get less trains running because of the energy deficiency. Also F Corps, which wanted to experiment with ferries to use in various ways, but failed to produce satisfactory results because they didn't get enough money, or energy bleh. And many other wings had a thing or two to say about the older L Corps, but they didn't have the gall to say it out loud. There weren't many alternatives that could provide such huge amounts of energy. These conditions soon became a hot topic among wing employees and city folks in general. Who's gonna be the one to change that miserly L Corps? Then someone next to them would say, who has the courage to do that? We all know that'll lead to a war between wings. No choice but to live like this. Though there was another reason to do something about that L Corps. It produced a massive amount of fumes. At first, it was thought to be a kind of smoke that's no different from what factories choke out, but over time people realized that this was affecting the residents around it negatively. Some people would suddenly start wishing for the happiness of some others, and still others would spend most of their time staring off into space. What's more, people had signs of sickness all over their bodies, and they started wandering around Elcor's nest. It was like they were returning to their hometown or something. One day, some rich person visited us and said that a war will break out soon, so we'll get some benefits if we helped her. Oh, is this Diaz?
That's Agent 1 of what I want you to piece together, yes. You still need to figure out Agent 2.
Yeah. They gave us a bigger thing to worry about than an upcoming destruction. A war is about to happen? Nikolai collected her thoughts and calmly asked why a war was going to occur. Oh, was it Nikolai for the gray hair person?
Try again.
Oh. The person paused for a bit, then spoke in a languid tone. I was creeped out by how she said it like it was no big deal. One person's true ambitions and another's tragic obsession joined together. A dream is destined to be born. Huh. Let me think.
Look, maybe go back to the chapter.
Go to the chapter? Hold on.
Go back to post type. Yeah, there you go. Further up.
Oh, further up? Huh. Gray
If you don't know who it is, I'm not gonna tell you.
the other thought that came to my head is probably not correct.
You could tell. You could say.
I was thinking Hokuma for some reason, but I don't think he has green eyes.
Well, maybe you should double check.
Does he have green eyes? Hold on. Hokuma.
Well, you shouldn't be looking at Hulk.
Oh, he does have green eyes.
You should be looking at maybe who he was before.
Yeah, fucking Benjamin. But he does have green eyes. Okay, so it was Benjamin.
Like I said, I don't remember if this goes into further detail further in. I don't know for sure. But, yes, this is the important lore bit in Distortion Detective, is that Diaz and Benjamin perhaps orchestrated the smoke war for Lobcore to become a wing.
Jesus Christ. I'm surprised. I thought I was being, you know, when I read, like, gray hair and green eyes, like, for like a second I thought Nikolai, but then I was like, wouldn't that be crazy if it was Benjamin? So it's kind of funny that I was right about that.
Being a wing nets you certain safeties. Safety may be what they were after they got ran the fuck over by the head.
I feed him a mango monster. I think when I finish paying off my current commission, I'm gonna call him Art of Bowser in a maid dress. That is a good usage of funds. I approve of this message. Okay, wow, okay, Benjamin is involved in this shit.
I am baffled by how profoundly evil Diaz is.
You gotta have an evil bitch, you know? Not bad. He actually withstood the test of my bullet. The marksman groaned as he spoke. Vespa subdued the marksman and made him kneel in front of me. The bullet aimed for Ezra stopped as well. She's lying next to me unconscious. Oh. Boony. A steam-powered rifle. It's similar to Psychoment as Yudia described, but this isn't one. This is a distortion, one that maintains reason. An uncommon type of distortion. Usually, distortions twist into a form suited for claiming and expressing their desires in one-dimensional ways. Bonnie. It's unlikely for a human side to remain. However, on rare occasions, distortions may retain their humanity and possess the capacity to plan a way to sate their desires. The sapience does not make them particularly more lethal or dangerous, but it does become a nuisance to deal with. They keep their desires hidden under layers of facade similar to humans. Even so, it's still possible to figure out the cause of those distortions, as their thoughts are warped and linear nonetheless. I believe there's a fine line between psychoment and distortions of this type. They're at the crossroads between making a step forward to manifesting psychoment and staying as a distortion. If I had to guess, I gave a gnaw at my pipe. What are the bullets of the thumb? The distortion who introduced himself as the marksman of the mist had a bundle of lenses for a head, a combination of a large lens and a smaller compound ones. Somewhere in the mist. By the by, you're quite the impressive individual, aren't you? It's not often that someone survives one of my bullets. This man needs bullets. Seems his gun manifested through the distortion imbues any ammunition loaded into it with his unique properties when they're fired. You have what it takes to stay on the right path. Letting him ramble on and on would be a huge waste of my time. I expired a white breath. The white smoke covered his head of lenses. What is the meaning of this? The smoke of yours tickles quite a bit. I placed a hand on my forehead. Mental disruption won't work on him. Is this ineffective against sentient distortions in general? Or is he the odd one out? What are you doing here anyway? You don't appear to be a generic henchman of the thumb, judging from your noble willpower. Will you tell me where you stashed the bullets if I let this talk go on? I see you're under the impression that this conversation is a waste of your time. Why'd you think that? In 15 minutes, I'll be allowed to hear the stream. Wait. I'm dumb. Nani? Let me see, where was I at? Is it because you were ordered to retrieve the bullets? But hear me out. Wagging with me will prove to be a most valuable expenditure of time. Oh, absolutely. It might even be a chance to realize what you want out of life. This is driving me insane. Even though he has no mouth, I can almost picture one jabbering away when I listen to his babble. He has no mouth and he must scream. He must yap. Alright. Let's do it this way then. I'll teach you one of these two. The location of the bullets or the secret of the nest. Which do you want to hear? What he uttered was rather unexpected. He mentioned the secret of this nest. Wouldn't hurt to hear that. Whether or not it's true, there's a sizable possibility that it's not entirely baseless. All your headphones have 5%. Oh no! I'm sorry, Monkey. Whether or not it was true, there's a sizable possibility that it's not entirely baseless. On the other hand, the whereabouts of the bullets is factual information, and it's what I need at the moment. Location of the bullets. Oh, you city folk. Alas, you shall find the answer eventually. After circling round and round, the bullets are in the water tank of the building behind you. There was genuine wistfulness in his voice. I don't mind it as much, though. Even if I had to take a roundabout trip, I can start searching for the answer when I need to. Dr. Moses. What is it? Someone is approaching. Two shadowy figures approach from the mist. Vespa reaches for his sword. I slapped Ezra's cheeks a few times to wake her up. Ezra, there's no time to be snoozing. Detective! Ezra threw her arms around me. Kid must have seen a past too tough to bear. Prepare for combat. Elio's snooty / fancy voice is so underrated. Well, thank you. The duo revealed themselves. One of them was a person slightly taller than me, though he's by no means a tall person. He's wearing the coat of a Zwei fixer. It's worn and wrinkled. The other was a dog made of steel. It's carrying a crude club on its back. The dog could very well be holding a human brain. Is that the one who slaughtered our fixers? He spoke to us. Who are you lot? The short, middle-aged man furrowed his brow, apparently baffled by the inquiry. He then took a fixer license out of his coat pocket for us to see. Zwei Association, Section 1. Edgar, a detective from the Major Crimes Unit of Section 1 of Zwei South. The Major Crimes Unit of Zwei Section 1. Some high-profile individual we have here. I masticated my pipe. What's masticated? I want you to hand over that monster and the thumb's ammunition while you're at it. Edgar drew a cigarette from his pocket. Putting that aside, Vesper Crambro, the taboo hunter, is here, huh? That's a rare sight for the southern parts. Vespa is silently staring at Edgar. The boy in yellow has a reputation, I see.
I feel an uncanny tension in the air. Oh, it means chewed. Oh, okay. Masticated is chewed. Well, isn't the atmosphere rather awkward? The marksman broke the silence. So, is that the culprit who killed our fixers? Edgar tilted his chin at the marksman. They maintained silence. Alright, I want you to stay out of this from now on. He's oozing with poise. Yo, he got crit rate up! What were you trying to do with those bullets anyway? If I confess to his wife fixer that we accepted a finger's request, the outcome will be thorny to say the least. We just wanted to borrow some of those amazing bullets that the thumb makes. Ezra hurriedly stepped up. Really? So you're a group of scavengers looking for some loot to snatch in this aftermath. The electronic sound rang. Psst. What's that, ring? You overheard their conversation? Edgar puts his ear to the dog next to him. Ezra gulped. His expression turned into a minor scowl. What is this? Hey, thanks for explaining the definition of masticated without bringing up that it sounds similar to the word masturbation. I know that took restraint. So true. Let's see. Edgar threw a cigarette butt into his portable ashtray. Fixers bribed into doing dirty deeds for the thumb, huh? That changes the story. Oh, wait, I'm Moses, the Distortion detective, and I belong to the Seven Association. These are my assistants, Ezra and Vespa. Forget that. Is it true that you're working for the thumb? I will delete what I was typing about how I learned the word then. You sent it too early, dwarf. Let's see, where was I at? It is, but our lives are on the line in that deal. The city never runs short of felonious scum. A fixer affiliated to an association taking work from a syndicate. Teenage boys are dumb, that's the reason. This is troublesome. The problem isn't that we're facing a fixer from the Section 1 of an association. The association he belongs to is the issue. Starting a feud with his wife fixer, who works for the safety of the city, is essentially opposing the few remaining upholders of justice in this civic jumble. Although it would take some time, the only option we have is to follow them to the station and give our testimony of the situation. Besides, Diaz has our back. I presume paperwork won't bother us for long. I could cuff you and take you to HQ for formal procedures, but I'm a stubborn fool. Damn it. I don't have a good feeling about this. Ezra looked at me with nervous eyes and shook her head vigorously. She's telling me that our opponent is strong. Seems scum like you makes my blood boil. They say fixers do anything for money these days, but partaking in the slaughter of innocent people led by a finger? That's where I draw the line. Edgar shook his hands, then his canine companion merged with him, transforming into a suit of metallic armor covering his body. It's as if a shepherd dog assumed an anthropomorphic form. Hey yo, ain't no way he's Bark and Bite from Hit Game Arms for the Nintendo Switch!
This is my persona, and you're going to feel my musky wrath.
At my headphones hold out for another 5 minutes. Annyeong! I hope it goes alright, Mongi. Ring. It's time to bring justice. Vespa! Yo, Arms 2 on the Switch too? Just might happen. Vespa. A yellow flash clashed against flickers of an indigo hue. The sharp blows made a sound that echoes through the street. Ezra will escape. Pick this sod up and run. My best option is to lure him to where Isabel is. Hey, Marksman of the Mist, was it? Think you can keep him in place?
I could halt that man, sure, but I could also just end up killing him. Or the bullet might not even work, like how it didn't work on you. It's all in the mind. I'm forced to make yet another choice. Arms too. Revenge of the legs. Also, I just saw what you were sending me toward my city now. Alright, let's see. Should I just read these?
If you want.
Okay. 7 Association Office Fixer Report. Author Han Hee-jun. I assume these are all short, because all of them are pretty short.
Why you got your hands on your belt, bro? Fucking... Can't keep your pants up? That's some big-ass feet. Look at that.
Yeah, God. What size shoes you wearing, baby girl?
This dickhead is 24.
Jeez. Best for
He's a-
Cabro.
He's a grade 1 fixer at the age of 24. He's been doing this for, at maximum, 6 years. You have to be 18.
Jesus.
Who is this freak?
Let's see. Gender male. Affiliation former taboo hunter of Encore, expelled. Currently assisting Moses' office. Grade 1 fixer. Height 192 centimeters. 6 foot 4 inches in feet. Hobbies: vehicle maintenance. Organizing his thoughts while brewing cinnamon tea. He likes cinnamon tea. Wow. Specialties: driving, tracking. Birthday, January 24th. I'm surprised he wasn't born slightly earlier so that he's a Capricorn. This bitch is an Aquarius? Ain't no way.
I love, by the way, that your only real insight into his hobbies is he likes cars, which makes a lot of sense because he punched someone's head off for fucking with his car.
That makes sense. Likes foodstuffs, preferably substantial meals. Clothes comfortable for agile activities. Cinnamon quite... Damn, he really likes cinnamon! Dislikes cacti and syndicates. The thumb in particular. Yeah, girl, we noticed. Why cacti, though? Huh.
Prickly.
They prickly. Me no like prickly. Aquarius is the freak sign. That is true. This 2 has 2 extra Joy-Cons called Grip Cons that are used with your feet and toes. No.
You run into the antagonist of Ring Fit Adventure 2. Oh, we're gonna get real weird with it.
Why is Diaz's image so small compared to Vespa's?
It's 5'8".
7 Association Office Fixer Report. Name Diaz. Age? No one fucking knows. She's too fucking old. Wait, does she have... Hold on. Oh shit. Is she a blood fiend? Theory? Gender female. Affiliation. Huh? Grade? Huh? Height 171 centimeters. 5 foot 8 feet. 5 foot 8 inches in feet. Hobbies: collecting vintage tableware, making punch cards to play with her prized music box. Specialties: eloquence. Birthday June 1st. So that's what? I forgot what sign that was. Likes the sound of music boxes, the color of gold, and dislikes...
Shit, I'm a Gemini. I understand.
Oh, no fucking way. No wonder. No wonder this bitch is crazy. She's a Gemini.
That's the vine. I gotta find it.
Dislikes dissonant notes, the sound of antiquated machines. This bitch old. And she got red eyes. She's a fucking blood fiend, bro.
Cannot find this meat there. Yeah, I got it. Here. This is important. Just put fucking Diaz over this.
What's the defendant's reasoning for murdering 3 people? I mean, well, shit. I'm a Gemini. I understand completely.
Hold on, let me replay that without the hard battle music playing.
What's the defendant's reasoning for murdering 3 people? I mean, well, shit. I'm a Gemini. I understand. Come on.
So true.
There has been a Vine that I've been looking for a long time, and it's just gone, and it pisses me off.
Oh, I hate that. Lost fucking media.
I'm sure it exists still. This is a shot in the dark. There's a guy, he's just sitting there, and he just said, that was a really good movie. And then it cuts to him, like, pushing his door in, running and yelling, the book was better! The book was better, motherfucker! And then he runs out and closes the door, and it cuts back to the other character. He's like, who was that?
Oh my god, that sounds like a really good one. I hope you can find it. I hope it's not lost media. Howdy! Hi there, SkyreCon! Welcome, welcome! Okay. So, I think now it's your turn.
Yes, I'm not gonna be fruity with the marksman, I'm sorry.
No fruity marksman, damn.
I feel like it would be offensive if I did it.
It's okay. I give you the pass. Be fruity.
I'm gonna put it on too thick and you're gonna go like, dude, what the fuck? Alright, fine.
Be extra. Embrace it.
You will regret your words and deeds. Ezra and I were still running. The thunderous roar of our pursuer won't get any quieter, despite our best efforts to escape him. The struggle is filled with the sounds of building walls and the collapse, the sounds of swords cutting through the air, and the screeches of metal chafing against one another. Edgar is chasing us, and Vespa is slowing him down.
Wait. Maggie just said, I found out the word for what dwarf is the other day. What?
What the hell are you talking about?
Nani? What word?
Huh?
Also,
Sorry.
hi. Enjoy work, SkyreCon. Sorry.
What does she mean by this?
Yeah, what did she mean by this, chat?
I'm putting down the book and I'm looking at you expectantly.
That cool straight dude in queer Discord.
Oh, the designated straight?
Yeah, I mean, that is true. You are the designated straight.
Yeah, well, somebody's gotta do it. It has a name. Okay, what's the name?
Hang on.
I'm hanging on. I'm trying to stay straight. It's hard out here, you know?
At least you're not the people on Steam.
Pod watchers skip like a minute or two.
Our attention is peaked.
This better be a funny term. It's turning on your... I'm gonna keep reading. Look, have you still not made up your mind? Just what is the hesitation for? You may be bold in the face of major occasions, but you're quite the reluctant one when it comes to little things.
You sound like the movie guy from I Had in Time. And you know what?
DJ Grooves?
What was that?
Yeah, DJ Grooves.
Yeah, DJ Grooves. You sound just like DJ Grooves. And you know what? I'm all for it. DJ Grooves would be a little fruity.
I was just planning to do a generic, like, Western voice, but, like, you said be fruity, and I don't want to be too fruity. What? That's not real.
Grungler? Dwarf is our Grungler. VOD watchers, we'll be back after these few short messages.
Hey, I'm Googling this. Urban Dictionary says bisexual.
Publicly straight, secretly bisexual.
I do see, okay, I see this 8-month-old curated Tumblr post that is describing this correctly.
I see. Dwarf is one of the grunglers.
As is, you know, don't look at me.
What was that thing that we were calling Lucian? We got a jongler and now we got a grungler.
He called himself that.
Yeah, Lucian's a jongler.
What
and
is this?
Dwarf's a grungler.
What the fuck is this pic?
Did we, by the way, is jongler a thing? I don't actually know if jongler is a thing or if we just came up with it.
What is this? Yeah, good question. I linked it. I'm still confused.
Normalize being straight. Guys, check it out. I am the Grungler. And I'm a Sneasler. Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, this actually does appear to be like a real term, real quote unquote Ancestry.com Grungler family history. You're telling me some motherfucker out here is their last name is Grungler?
I mean, we got Gronk.
I hate this. Okay, sorry. I'm going. The marksman of the mist says to me, being carried on Ezra's shoulder, "This is not a little thing at all." Edgar comes from the Zwei Association. Anyone with half a brain in this business knows that there are boundaries a fixer shouldn't cross. They're what differentiates you from a syndicate crook. Violating those rules will result in demotion, or worse, disqualification from work. However, if we murdered a fixer from Section 1 of the Zwei Association while doing some bidding for the thumb, disqualification would be the least of our concerns. We become the target of requests.
Could you give me a moment? I'm gonna go refill my water. I'll be right back.
Okay. What do you mean, marry into the Grungler family? I'm not gonna take someone's last name. Bro, sister, bro, gender neutral. I don't even like myself. How am I going to get in a relationship with anyone? How am I going to expect anyone to like me if I ain't liking myself? That's an unreasonable expectation to place upon a person.
How's it going, jonglers?
It's fine. Okay. No, I know better. Despite everything, this can be covered up as long as Diaz has our back. Shallow sense of justice left in me.
Wait, what did yours say? What did yours say?
Nothing, don't worry about it, we're reading. Oh, that's not it either. I'm aware that I've come too far to speak of justice at this point. It all comes down to not wanting to rely on her. Diaz is deeply intertwined with every problem, from the cause to the solution, and I hate to see myself continually asking her for help, but it's a childish and personal reason. How laughable that I brought up righteousness and conscience as a fixer for my first excuse. Think you can hit him? Ooh, you've decided at last. Anywhere in the mist and whomever you want. Boom. With a loud noise, Edgar landed in front of us. His armor was riddled with impacts and slices from Vespa's sword, though none of them do appear to have left any critical damage. He held Vespa by the hair with his left hand. Jeez, bro. Vespa crap, bro. You're tough, but you lack experience. I can sense uncertainty in your blade. Edgar spat as he slammed Vespa to the ground. Shoot him. The marksman of the mist pulled the trigger right on cue. The bullet was aimed for the center of Edgar's forehead. He easily dodged the shot by tilting it to the side. Using cheap little tactics, aren't you? Said a deep voice, then Edgar swung his fist. Detective! At that moment, Ezra tossed the marksman into the air and stopped that fist with both hands. Another shockwave shook the street. Crackle, crunch. Ezra's arms broke from the overwhelming impact. She coughed up blood and fell on her knees. He clenched his fist and extended his arm once more, an attack with murderous intent. He's trying to kill me with this fist. I kept my eyes open and looked straight into him. Straight into him? I feel like there should be a word here. His fist did not reach me. Anywhere and whomever you desire, my bullet circled round and eventually reached you. The bullet struck Edgar's head from the back. It rotates where it landed, to be precise. Just like that, Edgar came to a halt. I caught my breath. It was one of the few moments in my life when I was ready to accept my doom. Ezra, you stand up? This isn't a big deal. The first aid kit in Ezra's dimensional bag should be enough to take care of a broken arm. However, as it is a limited resource, I feel rather hesitant to use it right away. Vespa is unconscious on the ground, wounded and bruised. We should sort this out. Hey, how long does it take your bullet to keep a person, or how long does your bullet keep a person frozen? That depends on the person. You, for one, overcame it with much haste and elegance. Is it okay to move a person in this state? Well, I don't see it being an issue. Not that I made such an attempt before. Ezra can't use her arms due to an injury. I tapped Vespa on the cheek a few times to wake him up, and let out a faint groan as he opened his eyes slightly. Have you taken care of him? For now. Vespa got up, running his hand through his hair. Come on, stop doing this cunty Virgil stuff, bro. He looked at me, then at Ezra and the marksman of the mist, and finally surveyed the surroundings to get a gist of the situation. Let's get moving first. I nodded. Vespa put Ezra on his shoulder and grabbed Edgar at the back of the neck. Small act of revenge, perhaps. The marksman of the mist is plenty willing to follow us without any persuasion necessary. We should get a good place to rest before we take the ammunition to Isabel. No, I'm going with you! Edgar's determined shout echoed through the basement, then his eyes met mine. Rang! Psst. Well, fuck. Both you and I are captives, huh? Damn it, what happened back there? Back of my head, it aches like hell. Detective! Thank goodness that guy didn't die at least. Amazing! Another who possesses a spirit of steel. How serendipitous of me to witness two people triumph over my bullets in a single day. I'm sitting on a crate, watching our tied and restrained Edgar, with a smoking pipe pursed by my lips. Ezra and Vespa are waiting for my orders at the back. They haven't killed me yet, so I reckon there's something you'll want. First off, I'd like to clear the misunderstanding between us, Edgar. If you mean how I mistook you for some small-time lackeys of the thumb, then you bet it's cleared, Crystal. Congratulations. Killing me would be a huge step up in your criminal career. You're gonna be real famous among the syndicates. Might even get you a nice little position in the thumb. Shook my head as I blew out smoke from my pipe. Let me introduce myself once more. I'm Moses, a grade 5 fixer belonging to the 7 Association. My current occupation is the Distortion detective. The detective? Distortions? My work is to deal with the distortions we encounter in this nest and retrieve them. We crossed paths with the thumb unexpectedly, thus we had no other option but to cooperate. Did you harm any civilians during your little errand? No. Right, maybe you didn't. You probably thought you could just be on your way after you're done helping the thumb. I bet you never stopped to think about what the lives of the innocent that would be lost to the bullets you retrieved. That's what I find unforgivable about people like you. You want to hold us accountable because of that. Why don't you consider the possibility that we might help more innocent and powerless people after the business is settled? Your accusation is it's a delusion. A delusion. Yeah, right. I've said similar things plenty of times in my life. I inhaled smoke. So you refuse to show any understanding for our situation. Maybe I'll give it another thought when you turn against the thumb. You seem to think you have the upper hand. You're tied to a chair. Your life is in our hands. And yet here you are trying to negotiate with me. He's an old hand. He must have a rough grasp of our awkward circumstances. What would be your demand if that were the case? Do you want the thumb dead? Yep. Fine. Alright. Then let me hear your side of the story. We're headed to where Isabel is. Ezra and Vespa are following us, carrying the bullets. Oh, you're collecting distortions, huh? How many you caught so far? I don't think I'm obligated to tell you that much. I know that distortions have been causing a commotion lately, but I'm not sure you can just beat them wherever you want to. A trade secret. We're about to arrive at the house that the Thumb took over after murdering its previous residents. Isabel and her group greet us in front of the house. "You back, Miss Moses?" Edgar runs at her as soon as she stops speaking. "Rang!" Edgar's metallic dog once again becomes a suit of armor that covers his body. His ironclad fist struck Isabel's face right away. She was slightly knocked back, but retaliated with a knee to Edgar's stomach. The mutual attack created a bit of distance between the two. "What is the meaning of this, Miss Moses?" Isabel asked, spitting bloodied saliva. I shouldn't speak with her. Destroying the assemblage of the Thumb's members with no room for negotiation. That's the condition Edgar offered. Seems I can't avoid sinking into pits of violence no matter what I do. Ezra, Vespa will support him. Facing a capo and 20 soldados from the Thumb. On our side, we have 2 grade 1 fixers, 1 grade 3 fixer, and 1 grade 5 fixer. And 1 distortion.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Vesper, you're free to brandish your sword with no constraint this time. I've been waiting for this.
I'm sure you have.
Vespa nodded. I imagine his sword was held back by worry when he was fighting Edgar. The boundaries of a fixer are no concern against the Thumb, however. Vespa drew his blade and charged into the soldados without hesitation. They have their ammunition, and as such, they're devoid of the means to stop Vespa and Ezra from approaching them. Edgar is in a scuffle with Isabel. Isabel's brass knuckles collide with Edgar's steel fists, creating noises and sparks that distract my senses. Edgar should be able to handle Isabel on his own if we keep the soldados occupied. The problem is how the 4 of us are going to take on 20 of them.
Ezra, we'll take on 3 and leave the rest to Vespa.
Got it, detective!
I bit my smoking pipe. What I can do is let out 3 forms of breath. Lending a hand with the red breath won't do much against a single soldado. The other options are the white breath and violet breath. Breaking their psyche or tying them down would be a more effective approach. Time will solve this problem. I let out a violet puff. The pipe assumed the form of a whip, and I lashed it at 2 soldados running towards Ezra.
Jesus, girl, you're fucking freaky, huh?
How well I can wield a whip is irrelevant. What matters more is the mental image.
Oh, she's talking to me.
I have to picture how I will bind them in clear detail. As I do, the whip wraps around the victims, and purple thorns dig into their skin. Ezra, now!
Okay!
Ezra swung her hammer at one of the immobilized soldados to crush their cranium. She then swung it at the other, but missed, and they retaliated with the buttstock of their rifle. It turns into a stalemate, dragging on without either side gaining an upper hand. Vespa seemed to be struggling to land fatal blows on the foes surrounding him as well. However, this delay is exactly what we need.
Anywhere and whomever you desire!
The marksman of the mist has finished imbuing the Thumb's bullets with his power. His shots hit one target after another. Some manage to react, but the bullets take a tortuous route and find a way to get to them regardless. One by one, they cease movement, and the last bullet struck Capo Isabel.
That's what got me, huh?
Edgar muttered. These thumb crooks are yours to take care of now.
Bang! Sound of a new bullet hole in a human. The bullets have already begun to pierce those who couldn't overcome the trial. Edgar watches the soldados fall. Alright, I'll deal with them my way. What about that man you call the Marksman of the Mist, then? We'll be taking him. Edgar made a bitter smile. Then he thrust his arm through Isabel's head at a tremendous speed. So, is it just me, or are those bullet holes the same kind as the ones left on the deceased crew from my association? I placed a hand on my forehead. The corpses of Zwei Association fixers we found in that workshop weren't the doing of the Thumb. That was most certainly the marksman's work. The decision I need to make here is clear-cut. I can always procure distortions another time. For that, preserving my life comes first. You can have the marksman. In return, I ask you to stop pursuing us. Moses, it's hard for me to tell where you stand. You're acting for a single goal with no morals tugging at you, good or evil. You're the kind of person who would stop at nothing to reach what you want. Are you speaking the truth? Do you sincerely have no need of me? The Marksman of the Mist shouted from afar. I only need to take care of the task Diaz entrusted me with. That's all there is to it. The Marksman isn't necessary help for this job. Bzzz. A prosthetic arm emits a light. Dr. Moses, I get the gist of your current situation. It's Han Hee-jun. He's contacting me after all this time? I thought communication systems were all busted around here. Edgar murmured to himself dryly. He must have mixed feelings seeing this kind of technology, given his crew probably had a hard time requesting assistance here. Lady Diaz says she will have the aftermath cleaned up. I want you to secure the Marksman of the Mist. Han Hee-jun had been watching us all along. He's at least seen enough to know the context of the recent events surrounding me. He most likely kept an eye over us when we were being chased by sweepers, and when we were negotiating with the Thumb. Not even surprised. This is how Han Hee-jun works. What he said just now is a roundabout way of mentioning that we're allowed to kill Edgar. It's an indirect order from Diaz to do so. I'm not going to kill that man. Like hell you aren't. Ezra, stop him with all your strength. Ezra threw himself at Edgar as he raised a fist and started running towards me. She barely managed to hold him back with the imperfect cyclement manifested on her body. Her cyclement tends to be brought out in rather heated moments, and I have to be involved in it. What's up with you, really? Is it money that you're after? No. You're motivated by your beliefs. Not the honest kind, though. Your twisted beliefs gnaw the things in your wake. They're a half-hearted sense of justice. You spared my life while taking down the Thumb's mooks. But that sense of justice is easily broken as soon as it drags you down. Or maybe your justice was too soft to even break in the first place. You're a band of scum. There's no doubt about that. I tensely held my smoking pipe in my lips. As Edgar said, I act according to my beliefs. Atonement, self-consolation. That's the only goal I need to achieve. Nothing else matters. I move purely for this single purpose. I take a breath and let out a paleness. Turquoise blue powder covered Edgar. Detective, why? Ezra yelled at me. Thanks for pointing out something I am already painfully aware of, Edgar. I won't kill you for the sake of my scummy belief. Ring. It's time to bring justice again. Edgar's armor began to glow, and sparks flew off. It seems he's ramping up the power output of his armor to the maximum. Pushing Ezra away, he bolted forward. His destination isn't me. It's the Marksman of the Mist that he's aiming for. A bolt of blue light dashes across the street. He sprints on all fours, assuming posture reminiscent of a wolf. But he won't reach where he wants to be. The more he runs, the more the turquoise powder buries into his armor. A temporal tread wheel. Edgar's movement slowed to a near complete halt. thought you had forsaken me for a moment. The marksman of the mist descends from the building and comes running. Ezra is looking at me with tears in her eyes. You're such a liar, detective. Vespa sheathes his sword and walks to us. The situation has been handled somehow. No, I can't stop here. A lens was shattered, sending shards of glass flying into the air. The sound of it came afterward. Edgar's fist had smashed the head of the marksman. It happened all too suddenly. No one present could possibly expect or react to this. His movement unfolded before my eyes in slow motion, as if all of it were crystallized within a frozen sliver of time, a mere fraction of a second. He thwacked Vespa's sword with a backhand just as he tried to draw it. The sword was pinned into the ground along with its hilt. Then his fist struck Vespa in his chest. Hey, Moses, what did I tell ya? It's time to bring justice. I won't let you get away scot-free. Could this be the side effect of the pale breath? It seemed as though Edgar stored momentum while his movement was halted. I'd never encountered this kind of situation before. There's nothing Ezra or I can do at this distance. Is this your definition of justice? Killing people left and right? Do you think you're bringing about justice by murdering whoever seems guilty enough to you? Oh, I do, ma'am. Edgar grabbed me by the neck and lifted me upward. His grip is iron. It feels like he could tear apart my throat at any moment. Even this likely isn't the full extent of his strength. Ezra grapples his arm and kicks him to no avail. He won't flinch at all. The marksman of the mist is dead. The thumb's crooks are slain. You know who we actually are, too. What reasoning do you have left, then? Picturing fixers out of mere spite? Like running your mouth will save your life. I believe I'm describing the situation as it is. What you're doing at the moment is no better than a syndicate's behavior. Psst! Fucking hell, Ring, I know! Edgar threw me to the ground. I remember you, Moses the Distortion detective, and your assistants, Ezra and Vespa. I'm in charge of every damn thing you do in this nest. Is the fucking Ujat, like, interfering with this to where, like, he can't kill us can't kill Moses and them because of that?
It is unclear.
Policemen getting paid off by rich people? No way. I like the Angela A.N. art you're sending me. Okay. Y'all good?
Yeah, it's fine. I know there were some people theorizing that this guy was related to Linton, because they're both quote-unquote Edgar family.
I thought that was just his first name.
Edgar at some point says that he has a brother, or Linton rather.
I see. Though to be fair, we do have like, what, 2 roses?
Oh, yeah, so specifically what is said is Linton doesn't really know about the details about the man who's modified. His brother would try and kill him if he figured this out. And in response to his, like, Linton saying his brother just kind of fucked off to go do stuff, Dawn says that she may have read the name in Fixer's magazines.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that does sound like him then. Blah, blah, blah.
As for what's going on with Rang, I don't actually know. Maybe it'll come up.
Hi.
I feel like maybe I should know, but I don't. I'll look into it. Anyway. I activated the prosthetic arm. Psst. We failed to secure the marksman of the mist. That's a shame, Doctor. Though it's alright. Please continue with your work. And it's getting late, so you might want to look for lodging first. There's no ill will or reproach in his voice. To him and DS, this is but a small detriment, that they actually thought it was a shame at all. I think it's a shame. That little weirdo was funny.
Yeah, he was a fun character.
I mostly like that he just, like, they beat him and he just like, oh, okay. He just started hanging out with them.
Yeah. You kicked my ass. Cool, I'll hang out with you.
Ezra is upset with me, and Vespa is feeling powerless. We're a complete wreck. We're walking back to our vehicle, dragging ourselves along like soldiers returning home from defeat. Whatever the case, we need the van DS gave us to retrieve distortions. Ezra, I had to take the option with the highest chance of success. So you're gonna use that blue breath every time, Detective? No, only when it's necessary. That was one of those cases. Still, none of us had any other means to stop Edgar. That was the reality. Ezra was weak. Even though she has Psychoment, a power she can't fully control is still a weak power. Vespa is silently following us, staying out of the conversation. Remember, Vespa, our goal isn't strength or vengeance. All we should do is find and retrieve distortions. And that is for your personal satisfaction, I imagine. Correct. We reached our car. Thankfully safe and sound. It was provided by none other than DS after all. Suppose it's time to get back on the road and collecting distortions. The sun is setting. Suppose we ought to look for a place to stay the night. With the funds DS gave us, we could book a 7-star hotel. However, whether a proper hotel is still up and running in this nest is another question entirely. Either one of you have a place you want to stay at? Ezra, give me a map of Elcor's nest. Ezra hands me a wrinkled piece of paper after rummaging through her dimensional bag. It's a basic map that shows major facilities located in the nest. Lists restaurants, accommodations, and such. Problem is that it's hard to tell. The problem is that it's hard to tell where we are in the nest. That is, if we didn't have the prosthetic arm to specify our coordinates. I tapped the arm a few times to display our current location and superimpose it over the map. We're currently quite far from the center of the nest. Quality amenities and accommodations are easier to find near the center. Hotel Larriere. Larriere? I'm gonna go L'Ariel. Larriere. At least there's a 4-star hotel close to us. Looks like it'll take a half an hour to get there by car. Even in a nest whose wing has fallen, people still live on, and services are provided. Fixers and syndicates still remain as well. People find ways to carry on with their lives, whether by hiring fixers or submitting to syndicates. However, might is more dominant than ever in such places. When residents run out of money, the fixers will stop providing protection and leave. The nest will gradually become deserted as people begin to leave as soon as they're ready to. And there's no guarantee that someone who's once lived in a nest can migrate to another nest. Each nest issues migration permits differently. For some, the only remaining option at that point will be the back streets. I imagine the luxury of the nest life won't let them easily adapt to the back streets. This is not a matter of possibility, though. It's about survival. It might be difficult to even find a decent area to settle in. On the way to the hotel, we faced several small-time syndicates, those attempting to rob us of our cash and vehicle, those trying to intimidate us for their own survival. We treat them with blades or outrun them before continuing on the road. It's a bitter drive. I gnawed on my pipe as we went along. Here we are, Hotel Larriere. You know what? Hold on. Google, how do I pronounce this?
Radier.
It's French.
Should've known.
It might be that.
Radier.
Larriere. Okay, it is Larriere. Yeah, it's French. Derriere or Larriere, right? Here we are. Also, apparently French for the back, which makes sense.
Ah.
Hotel Larriere. I wonder if it's in business. We'll find out once we get in, Junior. After exiting our vehicle in the parking lot, we headed to the main gate of the hotel. Greetings, esteemed guests. My name is Root, the manager of this hotel. Would you like to check in, or are you here to assault us? I'll have you know that our hotel has a contract with an office employing multiple Grade 1 fixers, so I'd suggest that you'd want to stay out of trouble. We'd like to check in. May I have a look at the piece of identification from your group's representative, then? I handed over my fixer ID card. The manager began to write down the info onto the guest list. Miss Moses, a Grade 5 fixer. Must have come a long way from the northern side. The warp train must have cost a fortune, no? I hope you haven't brought along any headaches as serious as the distance you had to travel. You're making this long. Are you always this inquisitive about your guest's business? Please understand. As you know, the current circumstances of this nest are rather chaotic. Do the rates include breakfast, too?
I love
Ezra
Ezra.
hesitatingly asked. Yes, of course. While not as good as before, we still serve delicious meat pies and tomato juice.
Meat pies, you say?
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'd like to request that the others provide their IDs, please. We used to check only the person representing each party, but as I said, recent circumstances have made our procedures more thorough. Ezra and Vespa hand over their fixer IDs as well. Miss Ezra, a Grade 3 fixer, and a Grade 1. The manager's pen stopped for a moment. Perhaps he realized that we might be above what his hotel can handle. It's possible that he lied about having a contract with an office. We won't cause any trouble. We'll leave as soon as the morning breaks. Trouble, hmm? Oh wait. Who is this? Okay, here we go. Good morning. You never know until the night passes, isn't that right? Damn it, I did this voice. Man, what do I do? Hotel Larier has quite a bit of legacy. It's even partnered with the Hana Association. That's different enough, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
That's different.
Even though it doesn't guarantee immediate safety, it's solid enough to screw over the lives of fixers like you. A hotel that signed a contract with an association. If the fixer causes injury or damage with no good reason, the Hana Association will investigate and punish them according to the course of events and the severity of the case. Causing a scene in the venue a partner with an association could be grounds for additional punishment. The offender may be bombarded with penalty points that will accelerate demotions and disqualification. I'm Rusk, leader of Rusk's office. I've been staying here with my crew. Vesper turned around to carefully scan the person. If what the manager said is anything to go by, this man must be a Grade 1 fixer, and other fixers from his office are probably somewhere in this hotel. Now then, since we probably know what we could do to each other, you can entrust your weapons to me. Vespa knit his brow. Ezra held her dimensional bag tightly. Detective. Manager, will Rusk office keep us safe during our stay? Most certainly. If you're not a fan of this method, I kindly advise you to seek another lodging. You're aware that people of our caliber can still cause a ruckus unarmed, aren't you? It's still the job of the manager to do anything to minimize risks. How many rooms would you like? This motherfucker didn't play Lobcore.
Yeah, right? I was just thinking that too.
3 of the best rooms you've got. Here are the keys to room 501, 502, and room 519. Our staff will guide you to a unique room you won't see in other hotels, Miss Moses. Consider it a special service. Why, thank you. The 3 suites for the night, for one night. That'll be 2.45 million on in total. That's approximately 800,000 on per person per room. The price is more or less understandable, as it costs a fortune to hire offices and maintain contracts with associations. I nodded in approval, and Ezra paid the fee with the cash in her bag. And now we'd like you to turn in any weapons in your possession, please. Vespa unbuckled his belt. Hey,
Oh, so that's why he's holding on to his belt.
Mr. Rusk, expect things to get seriously messy if you so much as leave a scratch on my blade. Vespa warned in a low voice. That's up to your attitude, I suppose. Rusk glared at Vespa with bleary eyes. ABB? That's not how you ask people nicely. Ezra chimed in. Please take good care of this bag and that pal's weapons. They're super duper precious to us. I can keep the smoking pipe, can't I? I'll make sure to smoke outside. Mr. Rusk, please examine that pipe to ensure that it has no capability to kill. Miss Moses, may we trouble you for a second, if you don't mind? I passed my pipe to Rusk. That's an expensive-looking pipe. He inspected the smoking pipe from several different angles. I found no problems with it, Mr. Root. The manager nodded. Have a comfortable night's rest, then.
Oh, they don't know.
What? Oh, they don't know yet.
Yeah, they don't know that the pipe could kill them.
We followed the hotel clerk into the elevator. Ezra and Vespa went to their designated rooms. Mine is room 519, the furthest away from the other two, located at the end of the corridor. The clerk explains a few things on the way. Breakfast is provided from 6 until 9 in the morning, and there are many guests. There are more visitors than you might think. Many guests have checked in to stay here long term as well. That's fair. This may be a safer option than a common residence in a fallen nest. Although the price of a single night's stay will be more expensive than the monthly rent of a backstreets dwelling. For a hotel that's seen an increase in the number of guests, it doesn't seem very populated. I haven't seen anyone here other than us. I guess it's because it's late evening. Anyway, here we are. Room 519. It's one of the proudest rooms Hotel Larriere has to offer. The clerk opened the door for me, and I slowly walked into the room. As soon as my entrance was made, I'm struck by the thick stench of blood. Hell. Oi! I quickly turned my head to see the door slam shut in my face. Enjoy your night, milady. A creepy voice came from the other side of the door. That social call does not bode me a good evening. I bit into my pipe to ready myself, looking into the room. Around 20 people are facing the wall. Blood vessels extend from the back of their necks and converge into one spot. An old woman sits on a leather sofa at the center of the room, connected to those 20 veins. Distortion. It's a blood fiend. I bid you welcome, Moses. I am Larriere, the owner of this hotel. Perhaps it is no coincidence that you've arrived here in front of me. Damn it, Han Hee-jun. There's a blood fiend in the hotel we randomly picked from the map. We've got to have this planned from the beginning, calculating our route. Unless this really was just an unfortunate turn of events. Still can't help but be skeptical of him, considering his track record. Creatures of the night, vampires, blood fiends, a stereotyped form of distortion similar to merfolk, an incarnation of hunger based on psychological thirst. Various stories of blood fiends will be told, ranging from urban legends to stars of the city. I'm reminded of the once infamous Blood Red Night. I exhaled a red breath. The pipe assumed the shape of a red sword, which I pointed to the blood fiend. A fascinating red hue. It's the blood imbued in it that emanates such crimson light. As the blood fiend waved her hand, the blade melted into wine-colored smoke and dissipated. Moses, could you take a moment to listen to what this old lady has to say? The woman lifted her arm and waved her hand, raising a red chair next to me. I have no choice but to take a seat. That day, ever since the Pillar of Light illuminated the city, the times have been changing. I held my pipe in my mouth again.
Okay, I was wondering when we were gonna get to the blood fiend part.
I don't know, let's read chapter 42, Blood Fiends.
Blood fiends, yeah. The Blood Red Night, a star of the city that made its mark a few years ago. Known for randomly kidnapping people from the back streets and the nest alike, who would later be found as corpses robbed of all internal organs. Those corpses would then come to life and wander, looking for the next victim. The eastern and northern sides of the city trembled in fear of her for quite some time. From an urban myth to a legend, from a legend to a nightmare, and soon enough she rose to be a star. Multiple associations and offices joined forces to study the star, reveal its true identity, and ultimately slay it. Our office was part of that collaborative effort, though, looking back, it's embarrassing to say that we contributed at all. I never got to see the Blood Red Knight in person, and the closest encounter I had was the corpse of a person killed by one of the walking bodies. We were never included in the major missions. I lacked experience as the Distortion detective at that time, and it probably didn't help that my response to the situation wasn't the most professional. Several officers tackled the menace, but she would elude them every time, only leaving them with living corpses to take care of. Those that most likely did face her were later found dead more often than not. Alas, the brighter a star is, the earlier it burns out. In the end, Charles's office eliminated the Blood Red Knight with flying colors. Charles's office, huh?
What do you mean, huh? You know those guys.
I don't know those guys.
Yes, you do. What the fuck are you talking about, you idiot?
Yeah, no, not. And Charles's office was... Wait.
12 Paladins of Charlemagne, aka
Oh,
Charles.
right.
You may know them as, like, Astolfo and
Fucking
Roland.
Fucking Roland. Okay.
Yeah, man, I don't know who killed this person. I played Ruin It, by the way. You're lucky, bounce off. I'm okay.
Yeah, sorry, my brain just like dropped. I was like, wait, the name sounds familiar, but then I was like, I can't.
You have played every game and you're reading the supplementary material and you are acting like a secondary, a tertiary even. This is embarrassing. Lock in.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Do not pull you up by your bootstraps to have you missing details that you should know.
After that case, I began to study more about blood fiends in my free time. I encountered a few of them, whom I managed to repel or resolve. Elio's never played a game in his life, that is true. The impression I got is that every one of them possessed formidable power, whether or not they were of sound mind. The ones lacking rationality demonstrated explosive physical strength and tenacity, driven by raging thirst. Could I ask you to check how long the remaining chapters are? I think there's only 3 left, right?
I feel like it's even less than that. I think it's just 2 more.
Oh, 2 more? Okay.
I mean,
Whether or not
no, this is the last chapter, Lamau.
Wait, this is? Okay.
Yeah, I told you, it ended really abruptly.
Okay.
Because they probably were like, fuck, man, this is hard. We're doing like 4 things at once, man.
Alright, last chapter, let's go. Whether or not they were of sound mind, the ones lacking rationality demonstrated explosive physical strength and tenacity, driven by raging thirst. Those with reason behave in clever and cunning ways until they're cornered, at which point they will resort to inhuman strength out of desperation, all because of their thirst. There is one thing they strongly crave: blood. It's far from the desire for a good meal. To them, blood isn't something to satiate their gluttony. It's a crystallization of desire. They treat blood like how we treat money. Only that while money is a means for us to afford various desires, blood is a purpose in itself to them. Similar to how humans often become conniving and vicious for money, blood fiends are obsessed with blood. Will go to any lengths to consume blood in their own ways. What worries would you actually have, other than ways to claim more blood for yourselves? I huffed out a smoke. The old woman smiled a bitter smile.
Maybe so, maybe not. Ever since the Pillar of Light was fired up, our family has been under a threat like no other.
Family? Is that supposed to be some kind of role play?
We had to form a community, so to speak, to live long and quiet lives as veins stretched into the night. We used to spend our days in peace, although there were a few imbeciles, such as Elena. However, after the light was cast, a colony outside of our control emerged. Elena, huh? Okay.
He's been brought up, like, last chapter, too.
Mm-hmm. In other words, new blood fiends showed up. Precisely. They're just like us. However, those newborns are unaware of our rules, and neither do they know how to control their powers.
Rules? Are your rules there to endorse trapping people in hotels and sucking the blood out of them?
Those people won't even remember what happened by the next day. I merely take an adequate amount of blood from them in return for ensuring their safety. We have been living moderate lives until we were faced with this trial. The purity and pedigree of the elders are put to a test.
Your distortions. I don't know about purity, but you can't have any pedigree.
Distortions, you say? Moses, the distortion detective? She who sees the twisted minds of people?
How do you know that I can see distortions? How did you expect my arrival?
A good friend of yours informed me.
That sod Han Jun must have leaked it out.
That fellow is more supportive of you than you might think.
Anyway, to make this conversation easier, the distortion is essentially a disease of the mind. You're nothing special. Distortions that follow a set pattern are especially plain. In that sense, your type is obvious. You're far from the trickiest distortions to handle.
We're unique in that we have a bloodline. From the moment we received blood in a certain mansion, our ichor was linked, and a lineage was formed. We have lived in the dark since long before the distortion phenomenon your kind recently has been blathering on about. We've been fighting for our lives.
Fight? Who's your enemy then?
Your kind, of course. Intentionally or not, we're bound to cross paths with fixers and syndicates due to our nature. We've set up rules in order to survive. We decided to settle in each nest and district. That way we wouldn't invade each other's territories. To uphold this balance, we had to put our kin to rest until the population of each district was small enough.
You mean there are 24 more elders like you out there? One for every district?
Yes, and now my position is one is being threatened. The newborns are jeopardizing the balance.
Seems to me that your balance wasn't all that firm, if even before that it couldn't stop the Blood Red Knight from showing up.
The Blood Red Knight? If you're talking about Elena, I concede that she was our mistake. She was an embodiment of violence, one that even we had little success in calming. I worry that more of such incidents might happen.
Do all the employees of this hotel know that you're a blood fiend?
Only Root does.
So, who is this supposed menace that's threatening you, Seat?
Rusk.
The fixer hired by the hotel?
Yes, keeping my enemies close to me makes it easier to deal with them.
So, you're saying that Rusk is trying to remove you and take your throne. I can only see an ordinary level of distortion from him. A blood fiend's eyes are red. Having red eyes doesn't automatically make one a blood fiend, but the red eye trait is an invaluable part of all blood fiends.
I came to sleep in your chat. Well, enjoy your rest, Thunder Dude. Sweet dreams.
Eye color alone does not serve as a definite distinction, especially since eye augmentating procedures are commonplace in the city. Most eyes equipped with combat assisting features emit a red hue. Oh, so like Meal? However...
I mean, she's not a blood fiend.
No, ain't no way she's a blood fiend.
It's just a speed, mostly.
I wonder if Ryoshi has that too. The eye augmentation. However,
I can tell the eyes of a blood fiend apart from those. The greater the longing for blood is, the deeper and clearer the red will become, exuding a certain scent. Well, there goes my Diaz is a blood fiend theory. It was a kind of dumb theory, to be fair though. A well of blood can be seen splashing inside their pupils. Cannot observe such traits from Rusk's eyes. He only reveals that side in his sleep. That might be why you couldn't see it. And not the waifu from Chainsaw Man. Wait, who? Nani? Diaz? Why not strike him first while he's awake? Were I to fatally injure him, his instincts of self-preservation would awaken his inner beast then and there. It is no use for me to meddle in and make matters worse. Oh, hey there, Misha. I'm scared. Why are you scared? The blood fiend? Oh, I see what you're going. Yeah, the blood devil. I wish. Damn, I wish this was her. What's stopping Rusk from killing you right away? He isn't aware yet. He knows not of the fact that I am here, or that I'm in charge of this area. Your friend told me that the Distortion detective is currently on a mission to collect distortions. I don't wish to resolve this through violence. I want you to take him with you. Power the beast. Power the woman that you are. You sound rather reluctant to stain your hand with blood for someone who loves to drink it. Rusk and all the fixers from their office are blood fiends, although Rusk himself isn't aware. He turned them all into his kith and kin in their sleep. Or perhaps I should say subordinate entities, as you put it. I've told you everything that you need to know. I'll leave the rest to the professional. The old woman waved her hand. I was then sucked out of the room and ejected into the corridor. If what Laurier says is true, then the organizational capabilities of blood fiends must far exceed my imagination. I'll need some time to reformulate my understanding of the modus operandi of this species. I shook off the dust from from my body, and stood up. At least the direction of this matter is in my hands. I can choose to neutralize Rusk, or I can subdue Laurier instead, the lady who is one with this hotel. I guess we'll never know! Cause that is the end of Distortion Detective! Woohoo!
I mean, it came up in Limbus. Moses pretty clearly said, like, yeah, she would fuck me up real bad. I'm glad we didn't fight.
Yeah, so they neutralized Rusk then.
I don't know, our current metric for Blood Fiend power level of First Kindred is Papa Don, and he had not been eating for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these ones have been eating.
It's interesting though, because in Fang Hunt Hong Lu's Uptai story, they claim that if, well, no, that actually works. They were saying that, like, if a blood fiend feeds on you, like, it will become a blood bag no matter what. But I guess, to be fair, this might be like a better way of going about it. Because, like, she's not like biting and draining them. She's got, like, her shit going.
Yeah, I thought the distinction was like kindred can turn, but not blood, like, not the ones that are, like, I don't know, like, the lower echelons.
I mean, everybody can make lower generations, just two.
That's all? Yeah, that's all. That's where Distortion Detective ended, I guess.
Yep. Now it's time for maybe Leviathan. I don't know. It's unclear. I think we should.
I'll look into making an account on here, and I'll keep you guys updated for next week, how that goes.
Well, I don't think you're gonna find the entire thing on here is the problem.
Oh? Do you have an account and logged in?
Well, you can see the chapters available even if you don't have an account. It's just it starts there. My theory, I can't say this for certain, but what I think happened is while the lawsuit is going on, the comic, like actual drawn art for Leviathan, those were taken down. The stuff after that's up right now are just the written portions. Because that artist basically was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So they're like, okay, we're going to pivot into making this just like text instead of comic.
Okay.
So I do not believe we will be able to read it here. I have other ways we can read it, and while this may be a petty opinion, the reason this comic was taken down was for such a monumentally stupid reason that I don't think I should respect the wishes of the artist.
Yeah, you drive a hard bargain there.
I think going, hey, I know I was contracted to work for you, and like I signed it, but fuck you, I'm suing is not good.
Yeah, it's not good.
Especially at the behest of a very odd group of people. And it is in pursuance of basically sabotaging Limbus, because if they lose that lawsuit, like, they can't probably do anything with Verg or Charon anymore, which is obviously a bad thing.
Yeah, that would just kind of fuck with everything.
We would probably already be dipping into, like, fan translation hell anyway, because as I understand, at least as of, like, a couple years ago, the latter portions, like, chapters weren't translated. They're fan translated, they're not translated.
Okay. I will take some time to think about this, and
Sure.
I will update you all later. So it's like it started off as a manga and then it continued with a novel.
Yeah, I think you can actually see the post about it if you look under Leviathan. There was basically, like, the person who was drawing it basically was like, you know, they were burnt out, they're not meeting deadlines, and they're like, can we do anything so I'm not being a shithead? And Project Moon was like, okay, we'll just put it down, you don't have to draw anymore, we'll just put it down as like a light novel.
Damn, and they still caused issues after that?
You know, I'm not Korean, so I'm not gonna say things that I don't know stuff about. But that certainly seems like that's what happened. I don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you as always for being here with me, Dwarf, for reading Distortion Detective. I always like hanging out with you, so thanks for being here.
Weird, but alright.
It ain't weird. It ain't weird. That's how I feel.
Sometimes feelings can be wrong.
No, my feelings are right. My feeling is that I like Mr. Sundorf. Mr. Sundorf is a pretty good friend. I like when Dward is on stream. Yes, I concur.
So you were not paying attention when I was reading and looking back in the VOD to see what I said, is what you're telling me.
Huh?
Is that what you did?
Huh?
I don't know. It sounds like to me that I see the discussion up here when you're asking what I was saying. Somebody suggested go look in the VOD while I was reading. I feel like maybe you did that.
Oh no, I didn't watch the VOD, no.
Speaking of the VOD, cut this out. Cut this part out.
Alright. Okay. I'm gonna go in a BRB. Get something to eat. And then we will play some Umineko, I believe. Jackie?
Yeah, Jackie, this is your fucking problem.
Ellie was just like that. Well, what is this? Depraved visual novel Umineko hits PS4 next month. So true. Alright.
I wonder if that ever happened.
Was this like in Japan? I know it got released in Japan. Feel free to take your time. I need a few more minutes. Well, okay.
I'll be going off to go eat some food now, everyone. So I'll see you guys in a bit. And thank you again, Dwarf, for being here for this. So it helps save my voice for more reading in Umineko.
Oh, yeah. You have to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll need me for Leviathan. I'm not really familiar with it.
I will have to think how I would even do it with, like, the manga format at the start and then novel. Anyway.
The novel part's easy.
Yeah. Alright. I'll head off for now. See you later.
Mm-hmm.
Bye. Alright, and I will see you guys in a few minutes as well. I have no idea. I know there's a PS3 version. You're right. Umineko did release in Japan at some point. Yeah. I know Higurashi got like a bunch of ports semi-recently. With like Switch ports and stuff too. But anyway. I'm gonna go on my BRB now. See you guys in a little bit.